Is Romeo in class? Is Romeo in class? All right. Oh, some people already came. All right, I've shared the link. Let's go, guys. Let's go and pick it. We have a lot to cover up today.
Where's the link?
It's on the chart. I think
I
so.
can't see it.
You can see it.
Or you can go to YouTube
I can see.
direct. There's
I
I
can see
didn't
it
receive
now.
the link. To own root.
That's the link.
This file belong to Blue. Let's change ownership. Root wants to take
Please mute. Please mute.
Okay.
Please mute. Mute your YouTube.
No, super user is same. Super user is same as the root user, the owner.
It's Nelly.
Nelly.
No,
sorry, I just muted it
the owner
now.
of the
Sorry about that.
Guys, let's go. Guys, be fast. Let's go. I see Nelly. I see Asene. I see Salvador. Okay, I see Francois, Amina. Let's go. Let's get it going. Okay, I see Muma. I see Feli. I see Jocelyn. Guys, let's go, please. You guys are the one holding the class behind now. Let's go. I need to know you guys are here.
Close your video.
I mean, you can still have your video on, but minimize it. Your video is not going to pass on YouTube. Let's go, guys. We have 45 people here. I see 23 people here. Is Landry here already?
Yeah, I'm here, sir.
Okay. Welcome, Landry.
Thank you very much.
Let me repaste the link. Is Romeo here? I've sent the link again. Mimi is here. All right, let me start. Let me cross check. Participants. I'm waiting for you guys. Gaitan, let's see. Gaitan, is Gaitan there? Um, Wilfred. All right. So, Landry, use the link you see on the chart. Any question you have, you can ask on uh the chat in YouTube. Okay,
Okay.
guys, let's go. All right, good. So we're starting. Um, let's go with Amina. What did we study yesterday?
Yesterday we studied the Linux file system permissions.
Linux file system permissions. Okay, good. And what did we say about the Linux file system permissions?
We studied the different ways we can add permissions to users, group, and others. Add or remove permissions.
And what are the different ways that we studied?
We can use the change mode command as well as the change owner command to change the owner of the files or different groups.
Okay. Who did not understand that till now? All right. That means everyone understood that, right? Believe me or not, during your certifications, that will give you like 5, 6. If you understand that, it will give you like 5 or 6 points, right? It will give you like 5 or 6 points during certifications if you understand how to set permissions. Okay. So today we're going to take on, let me share my screen. We work on permissions too today. We'll work again on permissions, and after working on permissions, we'll work on we might work on processes, or we might work on, it depends on what time we finish, or we might work on adding repositories and all the like, or breaking, yeah, we might work on breaking the root password. Okay. Now let me share my screen. All right, a recap of everything that we did yesterday. This is it right here. This is a recap of everything we did yesterday. So a Linux file system permissions. I'll just go over it very fast. Now, it's late on YouTube. It's retarded on YouTube. So you watch on Zoom, not on YouTube. You answer questions on YouTube. Ask questions and answer them on YouTube. Okay, so interpreting the Linux file system permissions, and the reason why I am doing this today is by some ill luck, I have an issue. So this morning I tried doing some maintenances. I work in 4 different states. So I went far away from the other place where I do host my servers. And for some unfortunate reason, I did I did a maintenance this morning. I did break my VPN. So now there's no way I can go in. I hope it's only this night that it will check and restart the VPN server and all the like. So we might not be able to work on VPN. If some of you have tried, you see that it's failing, which should push us using VPN a little bit further. Okay, so we set Linux file system permissions. We took an example of Will and Nabil that can belong to the same team, that can belong to the same company. He's part of the SOC group and he's part of the NOC group, Network Operations Group. And here we have like the company, right? It can be Amazon, it can be what? This is the general group that they belong to. So we said in grouping stuffs, we have 3 levels of permissions, right? We have 3 kinds of permissions. We apply permissions on 3 kinds of users, which is owner, group, and others, right? So, and we said with the permissions, we have read, write, and execute, which is ROWX. Read, you can read the effects of the permission on files. You can read. Then if there is a read on a directory, that means you can list that directory. You can list that directory. Write on a file, the write permission on a file, you can change the information that is in that file. You can VI and edit that file. With a write permission on a directory, you can create files. With an execute permission, you can be able to execute a file as a command. For example, that if we VI to maybe a file called maybe hello, right? And let's just enter this /bin/bash, and let's just do an echo hello class. Let's close it, get out, easy. LL. Right now, we cannot do anything with this file, but let's add the executable permission there. You can execute files as commands. So if I do a chmod +X, what? +X, file, it's what? Hello, the file is hello. Right, now we can execute that file. If I do LL, you see the color did change. Now we can execute it as a command. Hello, you see, each time I call it and execute it, it will execute. So that's what an execute permission does on a file. Then an execute permission on a directory, I mean, it's the same, but it helps you to see the different content permissions that are on that directory. If there's just an execute on a directory, someone can just go into that directory and do an ls just to see the permissions that are inside that directory. Okay. All right. So we said with the permission levels, we have read, write, execute. If we sum them up, which read, write, execute is what permission levels. There's level 1, level 2, and level 4. Level 4 is read, these levels are the levels of access. Level 4 is a read, level 2 is a write, and level 1 is what? An executable permission. And if you sum all that, that will give you 7. So that's why you have a permission of read, write, execute. Any user can have a maximum level of 7, an access level of 7, as we can see right here. So changing permissions. Now we change permissions with the chmod command, right? If we apply the who, what, which, right? Who are we changing that permission to? What are we changing that permission to? Are we adding, reducing? What are we doing? Or we are giving an exact permission. Then with which file, which read, write, execute, which permission are we giving? We saw that, and we do now. It's changing files and directory, user this. So why changing files and directories? Ownership, we use chown to change the files and directory. Great. That's what we saw yesterday. Today, we're going to look at something a little bit more, still with permissions, but we'll try to solve problems. We'll try to solve some problems because you'll realize that there are problems. For example, if I have 10,000 users, let me see cat/etc group. Right, I have this group which have Masai, Newbell, and Mango, right? The group DO has all these users right here. Now let's see how difficult it will be to manage this. All right. Let's make a directory. Let me clear my screen. Okay. Now, let's make a directory called, let's cd to /opt and list. These are directories inside. Remove -rf, rm-rf. How do I remove a directory, guys? Start typing. rm-rf asterisk. How do we remove a directory? Why is permission denied? I need to see your messages popping already, please. I need to see your messages popping. Why is there permission denied? Yes, someone said remove -r. Why is there permission denied? Please, I am at the door since a while. Oh, someone is at the door. Please, Herman, can you help me? Someone is at the door. Okay, so I have to switch to root. Good, that's good. I like that. Switch to root, and I give my password cd to /opt. Then let me clear everything inside here. rm-rf asterisk everything. I clear everything, clear my screen and list. There's nothing inside /opt. No more. Okay, let's create a directory. Make directory food. And if I do ll, as we explained the other day, when you create a directory, by default, the primary user, the owner of that user, of that directory that you created, the prime is the user that created the directory, and the group is the primary group of the user that created that directory. So root created this directory, and the primary group for root is root. Okay, now let's give this directory to do. You guys should be giving me the commands already. When I say let's give this directory, let's make the group do to be like the group owner of this directory right here and give it read. Let's first of all give group read write execute. Let's give group read write execute, guys. Let's go. Let's give group read write execute right here. Can you guys send the command? Please send the command. Once you just hear me speaking, start typing the command out. Okay, someone says shmode g plus rowx. Is that it? Okay, on foot. All right, I see it on foot. Great. If I do ll, I see read write execute. Great. Please, we should take all the permissions away from others. Let's take all permissions away from others, please. Let's take all permissions away from others so that we will have our directory limited only to the root user and the group that created it. Great. Someone said chmod o minus rowx food. Great. Great. We have a clean directory now. We just read write execute for user and read write execute for group. Now, let's give that directory to, let's make the owner, the group owner of this directory to be the group DO, So chmod, someone is saying chmod, O plus X, wow, O minus X. Let's go. Chmod, how do I make root the owner of this? Landry, please, I want to see you typing too. Type your question. Chon, okay, someone said chon, good. Chon, do, food. Great. Now, the group do owns this, okay? All right. That means everyone that belongs to the group do can go in here and create a file. So let's cut /etc /etc group and we pipe it and grep for do. All right, this is do. There's Masai, Newbell, Mango, Greg, and CEO. These are all the users, right? So if I switch, if I su dash Newbell, su dash Newbell right here. I cd to /opt in here /opt/food because he's part of the do group. That means he can create a file. He'll have read, write, execute as you're seeing right here. He's part of the do. The do group owns this directory. They can do read, write, execute. So Newbell can go inside here and create a file. Touch file 1, file 2, then Newbell 1 and Newbell 2. Oh, sorry. Hello. Now, guys, I want you to watch this because this now will introduce us to the topic of today. You see, I earlier explained that when you create a directory, that directory, either you create when you create a directory or file, that the user that created that directory owns that directory, and what the group ownership of that directory is the primary group of that user. So we give this food, we give the group ownership to do, which Newbell is part of. Now Newbell went inside the food directory. Oh, I have permissions in this directory, and created 3 files so that he's collaborating on a project with other members, right? He created 3 files now and calls Greg and say, hey, Greg, in our join directory, I created 3 files. Please go to file 1 and modify that file and add information inside. I exit. Since it's a group project, I su dash Greg. I cd to /opt. I cd to food, which is our join directory. Then I see the files. Oh, Newbell said I should write something. I vi into the file 1 to write, hey, this is my own line of the code. So insert, this is my own line of the code, and save. Can you see there is a problem? What is the problem? What is the problem? Can you guys write what the problem is?
That is the question I asked yesterday.
Can you guys tell me what the problem is? Yes, Brice say permissions. Not the owner. Great, Komi, I like that. Not the owner. Guys, let's go. Let's go. Brian, do not have a write permission. Read only permission. Great. But this is a joint directory. So what's happening? Huh. But others have also write permissions. Someone is saying they do have write permissions. This is the write permission right here. They have it on the directory. But when Newbell created the files, it created under Newbell stuff. So other members of the group, good. The file is owned by Newbell, everything. So it's only Newbell that can modify this project. This challenges what? The need for a group. Is that right? It challenges the need for a group because if we are creating a group directory, that everyone in the group can use the files. What's happening? Well, it feels like when someone creates a directory inside, no one can use it, but that person, which take us today to what we call special permissions. But we can solve this by applying special permissions. Reason why we call them special. So we can change that real quick by applying what? Special permissions. All right, let me draw a line here for today. Then we enter with special permissions. Special permissions. What are special permissions? Why do we call them special permissions? Yesterday we said there are three groups. There are three groups of permissions. There are three groups of permissions. But you see, there is a fourth group that is not very, very common. There is a fourth group that is not very, very common. So special permissions constitute of that group, that number 4 group, the fourth group that is not really common. So the basic permissions that we add are read, write, execute, right? We add read, write, execute to a file. And with special, this cannot solve everything, as we just saw here that this failed when we give the group read write to everyone. But if any member of the group goes into the directory and create what? A file, then other members of the directory cannot edit or cannot even delete that file or cannot do anything with that file. Unless they can read at least, because there's a read permission for others. Now, other members of the group are being considered as others, which should not be what we should be doing. We should not have other members of the group as others in a directory, right? Because it already belongs to a group. It already belongs to a particular group, a particular project. So we should be all, if we belong to that group, that means we have been given access. We have been cleared to access the files and directories in that. Now, you cannot create files and directories that belong to someone else in there. All right. So with special permissions, there are three of them. There are three special permissions. There are three special permissions, right? So let me see. What do we have as these special permissions? Can you guys give me what are the three special permissions that we have? Let's start with Landry. Landry?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. This is some of you might be new to this class. You guys know my policies. Most of you know my policies here. It has been proven, and I'll say it again. It has been proven that once you have your cameras off, most of you, you are not serious. The reason why I ask everyone that logs into the class to turn their cameras on is for you to be accountable to yourself. The brain is the greatest mind-bending thing that any human possess. Your brain will give you all the excuses for you not to concentrate on your work. If you concentrate on this thing, you're going to pass your exams. Do not believe what anyone tells you that there are no jobs outside. There are jobs and people are getting them. If one person is getting it, why can't I be that one person? What is different with that person that I do not have? People are getting it. What is different with that person that I do not have? If others can have it, I can have it too. Have your videos on and minimize it and minimize the video screen. You can still be typing and doing your stuff. I will be the only one seeing you guys on video. Okay. All right, let's continue. So Landry, help us. You said the
Yeah, yeah.
permission?
So, sorry, sir. I kind of have a problem with my mic, so that's why I was struggling to fix it.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, the three special permission in Linux for my gear is the set user ID,
Yes, set user ID. I love the way you call it. Great.
set,
Set user ID.
set group
That's
ID,
really good. I love that. Calling it like that. Set user ID, set group ID. Yes.
and the sticky bit.
And the sticky bit. Great. So we have set user ID, set group ID, and what? The sticky bit. These are the three different levels of permissions that we use, right? So let's say this is the special permission. Special permission. This is the special permission. The effect, I love always to go with this, the effect of the permission. The effect and the effect on what? On files, and the effect on directories. Because you guys have to understand that permissions have different effects. They behave differently on directories and they behave differently on files. You need to understand that. Great. Some of you, please concentrate on the class very well today, because at some point, if you do not concentrate, you will be lost. Great. There's a U plus S. There is a G plus S, and there is an O plus T, which we have this as set what? Set UID. So this is sweet, right? That is sweet. This is JIT. And this is sticky. Sticky, sticky, sticky. Hello, Brian. Greet us on Brian. Where's Brian? Brian, can you write on YouTube? Let me see you.
Sir, sorry, I had some issue with my Zoom, with my PC. I need to connect again.
Okay, you were here already.
Yes, I
I
already
was
there.
wondering, like, who enter my class 20 minutes,
Exactly.
5
I had
minutes?
some issue.
Okay, great. So, yes,
Can you please
yes.
send us I need the link again, please. The
Can someone
YouTube
send?
link.
Can someone post the link for him? Thank you. So, yes, Ashley, continue doing Google, okay? Continue on Google. All right. We have set UID, we have set group ID, and we have sticky bits. All right, guys, give me a minute. I'll be right back. Sorry. You guys can use the minute for a break. Just a minute.
Je voulais m'assurer que tout le monde est inscrit à Heartbeat dans le système. Ouais,
Non, pas encore chez moi.
tout le monde, vous devez vous inscrire au système. Donc, c'est important pour la communication dans le futur.
Ah ben, j'ai essayé là aujourd'hui.
Je vais vous l'envoyer. Je vais le mettre dans le lien.
J'ai pas vu, Jeff. C'est quel lien que tu as envoyé? C'est dans Zoom ou bien c'est dans Telegram?
Je l'ai mis dans Zoom.
Ok. C'est possible de l'envoyer encore, s'il te plaît.
Oh, oui, je vais l'envoyer dans le Telegram aussi.
Merci.
All right, let's go. So we said these permissions have they behave differently on files and they behave differently on directories. You need to understand this to be able to apply them well. Now, files. Now, the first one is set UID. This is the only permission that does not have any effect on directories. No effect. None. It only has an effect on what? Files, which is, for example, with this, you can execute files that another user owns it. When this permission is set on a file, you can execute a file as another user. So if I set this file, if I set something on this file, so you can execute, you can exec as someone else, as the user that owns a file. You can execute any file as the user that owns the file. Now, if Newbell owns a file, what do we mean here? If Newbell owns a file and you give a suite or you set user ID on it, that means no matter the user that executes this file, it will show as the real owner that owns that file. Now, group ID, set GID. When you set GID, files execute as the group owner. Files execute now as the group owner. So for example, if a group owns a script right here, and there is a set group ID on that file, you execute a file, it will show that that file was executed by the group, right? Although it will have you log in, but it will show that you being part of this group executed this file. The group this executed the file. Now on directories, this is the difference. On the directory, files newly created, files newly created have group owner same as the group owner of the directory. What are we saying here? What are we saying here? We're saying that if a set group ID is set on a directory, then any file that a user creates in that directory will be owned. The group owner, it will automatically have group owner as the owner of that directory, of that file, sorry, as the owner of that file. For example, if I set a group ID on this file, so let me exit. Now, this is the file right here. I didn't want to enter the commands. I wanted to finish everything before entering it, but let me just explain this part. Chmod plus chmod u plus what? We see it here, u plus s, right? Chmod u plus s special, which means set special permission for UID. Chmod u plus s on food. Watch how it was before. Once I set this s permission and I do ll again, do you see what happened? Instead of an x in the middle, what can you see? S. You see an S, right? Now, let me switch back to New Bell, who created those files. New Bell. Now they said, if this is set on a group, all new files, not the old files that were already in the directory, because the old files will remain the way they are. cd2/up food. And I do ll. The old files remain the way they are, but now all new files created have group owner same as the group of the directory, which means all the new files that I will create, instead of having new bell, you have new bell and it will inherit this permission from the parent directory, which is the directory that you're inside. For example, if I touch new file and I do ll, okay, it still belongs to new bell. Did I set the permission on the file?
No.
Yes. Did I?
You didn't use the G plus S.
Oh, I did not. Oh, I set special. Thank you. So let me see. Let me exit. Thank you. I set a special, a set UID, which sets different. Sorry. That's good. Good catch. G. All right. Let me switch back to new bell cd2/opt food. And I touch second file and I do ll. What's happening?
You use U plus J. It's supposed to
Oh,
be.
my mind is lost somewhere. Chmod G plus S. Thank you. G plus S on food. I'm saying it in my mind and typing something else. SU dash new bell cd2/opt food and touch third file. The third time is a charm, right? Third file. All right, great. Now you see the change. The change right here is do, which they have it. But we'll have a lot of examples. For now, let's concentrate on finishing this. I'll come back to that. My mind is a bit lost. All right, so we have sticky bit. Sticky bits have no effect on a file. When you apply this on a file, it has no effect. Please, please, please Mute. Someone is speaking unmuted. No effect on the file, and on the directory, users with right access to the directory can only remove files that they own. Users with what? With right access can only remove their own files. In other words, they cannot delete other files, or they cannot delete the directory. So, because now if we made food right here, we give read, write, execute. That means any member of the group can delete this thing. Is that true? Because every member of the group have read, write, execute on it. But if we set a sticky bit on it, it is only the owner of that file, only the person who created that file, that will be able to delete that file. Others cannot delete the file. They cannot delete files that belong to other people. They can only delete, although it's read, write, execute, but they can only delete what they created themselves. Okay, let's now go to the examples to start understanding what we've done. If you're logged into your, let me clear my screen. If you're logged in, so if I do, let me exit this and go back as root. Let me clear my screen. And if I do ls-l on /etc/user, let me say /user bin password. Okay, great. Can someone tell me the permissions on this file? Someone should help me. What are the permissions on this file? Let's go. You guys should start popping. Good. Someone said the file has a set UID. Okay. Okay. It has a special permission. What is special about this special permission? What is special about this special permission? The S, yes. What's wrong with the S feeling? Philly, what's wrong? You said the S. What's wrong with the S? I don't see the answer. Guys, what's wrong with the S? I don't see the answer still. Yes, someone said the S took the place of an X. Okay. Now, how do I know if there was an X there or not, or if there was just an empty space? How do I know that? Why do you think there was an X there? What if there was just an empty space? What tells me that there was an X? In Linux, you have to read within the lines. You have to look closely. Someone should see this S here. What's the difference with this S here and this S right here? This one. What's the difference?
Can we talk?
Yes.
Yeah, for the other S, I think it's a directory food, right? It means the group has special command. That's the group set group ID.
Yeah, no, I mean just the S, the letters. One is capital and one is lowercase. Is that true? One's uppercase and one is lowercase. Did you realize that? One is uppercase and one is lowercase. When you see an uppercase S, that means there was an execute permission in that place. Someone said they look alike. Do they really look alike? All right, let me create another file and give it a UID. Touch green. Shimote U plus S. Let me see. LL. Okay, I see it right here. There is no execute permission right here, right? Great. Let's give it Shimote plus Shimote U plus S green. And I do LL. Okay. Okay, right. Sorry, guys. I threw you guys. Someone said, yeah, that's good. Who got that? Thank you very much. The person who got that. I was seeing a difference in them. Now I can really see the difference. So with one of the S's, when there's an executable permission right there, it will show you an S. When there's no executable permission right there, if it's an empty space, you will have another S, but what? An uppercase S on the file. Like we can see right here. Now let's work on, now with this permission right here, let me see, LL slash bin slash bin LL slash bin U S asterisk. Too many S stops. SU asterisk U asterisk. All right. Can you guys see this file? What file is this? Is the sudo. When you're doing sudo, when a user is doing sudo this, you're executing the commands as who? As the root user, right? Are you guys with me? When you say sudo user add this, technically only the root user can add a user in the system, but you can elevate the privileges of someone to become root, to have permissions to create users. Even when that person has permissions to create user, the command must still be executed as the root user for the system to accept that command. Because if that command is not executed as the root user, the system will say only the root user has permissions of creating other users. And because we use the sudo, it belongs to root, and you can only execute this sudo. Everyone else can execute sudo as root. Even if you do not have sudo privileges, you can still execute this command. But if you have now sudo privileges, your privileges will now allow you to be root and run this file, and it will work for you. Question, Ashley?
Yes, I was actually typing. My question is, if you set the SUID, like you set that permission for the user, and if there's no execute permission, is it going to always appear as a capital S, or is it lowercase? Or if you are muted, don't know if you're speaking.
All right. So ask your question again.
I was asking because when you set the U plus S on the file, it appeared as a capital S. My question was that will it always be the case if there was no X in the beginning, or is it even if there was the X in the beginning, it will still be capital S at the end?
If there was an X there, then it will take the lowercase. If there was no X there, it will take the uppercase.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so you can see right here, most at times you will not see this a lot, but during the Red Hat exams, they will ask you this. They will tell you that make a file so that this file can be executed as other users in the place of the root user, which now they're just telling you that you should add a U plus S. Now, G plus S also, this is what they will ask you again most of the times. G plus S. This one is if they just tell you that new files should be created, or newly created files should have group owner as, should have the parent directory as the group owner of that file. They are just telling you that set a G plus S on a directory. Once you set that, what will happen? Each user that belongs to that group will come in there and create their files. We created it on the directory do right here. And if I switch to Greg, which is who is part of that group, and cd to /opt hood in here, and I touch file 1, or I touch Greg 1, do ll, the Greg 1 file, the group ownership is not by default the Greg group again. It's by default the do group. Now, if we were to give every file in here, cd to, if we were to chmod, how do I give every file in this directory food? Hello, I have food there. How do I give all the files in this directory read, write, execute from where I am standing right now? Guys, please type the command. Type the command. Type the command. Okay. 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 I can see one right command in all you did type. There is something called recursive. I can set it on a directory and recursively set it inside. If I do a chmod, if I do a chmod 777, or if I do a chmod 77, then 0, 770 on food, you'll give it only on food. But if I put dash, capital R, recursive, that means do this and do it also on everything that is inside this directory. Thank you, Archie. Now, if I cd to food, LL, you see, now every file in here has it. Yes, you were not wrong, Francois. Your command was also right, okay? Don't think it's wrong. Your command was right. So I just wanted you guys to know of this one, the recursive, because I didn't tell most of you what a recursive command. That means it acts on the present file and whatever thing is inside that file also. It acts on it also. That's what a group ID does. Group ID, when you set it on files, we set on files, files execute as the group owner, right? So if you execute this file, it's executing it as do, it's not executing it as Greg. Then in here, you can create what? New files. O plus T, sticky bit. Sticky bit just means it has no effect on the file, thank God. On the directory, that means users with, because right now, if I switch to Greg, let me create 10 files. Or let me create again 2 files as, let me see, cd to let me su dash, well, su dash new bell, cd to slash opt food. Look at what new bell can do. Let me create 2 files, touch new 1 and new 2. If I do ll, you see the files that he created right here. They are right there. Now, he exits and go. He's done with his project. Then Greg comes in to their join directory, cd to slash opt food, and say, I do not like this. I don't want anyone else in the company to see this. Can Greg do this? Will it work? Let me ask you guys, will it work? I don't see answers. Will Greg be able to remove this? Brian Mike said no. Okay. Ashley said no. Okay. Jane said no. Josiane said no. Asene said never. Okay. That's good. I like you guys. When one person says something, it's a chain reaction. Easy copy and paste. Easy. Okay. Let me ask you guys. Now, Pascal said no. That's good. What gives someone why can someone delete a file or a directory? What permission level will make someone to delete a file or directory? What permission permits someone said level 2? Thank you. Permission level 2. The permission level 2, which is what? In alphabetical order. Thank you, Jocelyn. That's a right permission. Permission level 2 is right. Read is 4. Great. That means if you have a right permission, automatically you can delete a file. Now, let me ask you, does Greg has a write permission on this file? New one. Does Greg has a permission on third file? Can Greg delete the third file?
Yes.
You guys have eagle eyes. Before I say something, you've seen it. Why? You guys should write the answer. Why? But I don't see Greg here. This is Newbell that owns the file. Why would Greg be able to delete this file? I don't understand. You guys should explain to me. Yes, Parfait. I see you typing. Type. I want to see it come up. You're just smiling now, as if you were not typing, but you were typing. Great. He is part of the group. You see, he's part of this group. And now, what are the permissions of the group? Read, write, execute. So he can take out this file. Now, let's try. Whoop. LL. Where is the file? Third file is gone. It's gone. Because he was part of the group. Now, this causes a problem, which introduces us to what? The sticky bit. This causes a problem because now, third file was Newbell's product. He has not even finished with his file. You just came and deleted his project, and you're gone. And since what? GID is set on it, even if you check the logs, it will show that the group deleted it. Right? Now, let's give it a sticky bit. Now, let's say he exits and go. Newbell comes back. And cd to /opt food. He sees that his file is gone. He's pissed, but he creates it again. Touch third file. For others to be able to also modify third file and add their stuffs inside, he gives it a chmod G plus W. Okay, on the third file. He gives a permission for everyone to write into third file. Right? We are not yet doing logs, Francois. Okay? Let's not do everything at the same time. It will confuse a lot of people. Let's go bit by bit, one stage, from one stage to another. Else, we'll start it here and it will be a whole lot of confusion for people. All right, Francois. Okay? Let's not do everything. Please mute if you're on YouTube, mute. Great. Let's go. This time around, let's exit. He exits. The root user comes and say, oh, I see that, and cd out. Oh, I see that food has what? Read, write, execute set UID, and it has set GID, but there's nothing protecting this directory. That means, can Greg delete this directory food? Let me ask you guys, can Greg delete this directory? The whole project directory, can Greg do that? Great. Can Newbell do it? Great, because they are all part of the group. But now let's do a chmod O plus T. Let's set a sticky bit. on food.
You have a typo.
Thank you. Shimot O plus T. Great. We list the file again. What do you see here? A T. You see a T here. Now, this T tells you that, okay, there's a T. Let's switch back to Greg. Greg see this to food again. And see that Landry created the same file again. Wow, it's not set on the file. Okay. What do you guys think will happen if we try to delete it again? I just call up the command back. You cannot remove it. Do you guys see this? He cannot remove it. You see, when you start working, this is what I like about this job. The job itself is not difficult, trust me. The job itself is easier than anything that you can think of. But you need to have the knowledge to be able to fix things when things are wrong. The job itself is 100 times easier than the actual path of learning. But when you learn, you already have the concepts. When you have the right concepts, nobody can take that away from you. You solve any issue that you see. And everything joined together from the first class to the last class. When you're taking your exams, the same thing. When you see something, already you understand. If someone tells you that, please create a file, because the Red Hat exams, it's not multiple choice. They will give you a server, break that server down. You have to fix everything in that server. You're troubleshooting and fixing issues. That's what you're doing. At the end of the exam, they will rate and see how you fixed that server. So now, you see, operation not permitted. Before he was able to delete this file. Can he delete the file? Just looking at the file, yes. Now, if you try to delete the file, it does not go. You're not permitted. Only the owner of the file can delete it now. And of course, root also. Only the owner can delete the file right now. No one else but the owner. He says, okay, I'm done with you guys. I don't want to even delete it anymore. I want to clear out the whole directory so that you guys said I can't delete the file. Let me delete the whole project and quit the company. What's happening? There's nothing. Not possible. Only, someone said only only the OC can delete. Who is OC? Only, the only person that can delete it is the user. Only the person that created it can delete it. No one else. Of course, and root also, because root is the super user, has everything. That's all about these permissions. These two are pretty much easy. The only one that is a little bit confusing is this. Even if it confuses you in the beginning, it's okay. I don't want to go into too much explanation with this one right here because it will confuse a lot of people. If you know these two, definitely you know it is not this one. And this is what we call permissions. Now, somebody is asking, why is the T? Is it because why is the capital T added? Well, let's do a chmod G minus S food. Let's take the permission back. Exit. Only root can remove the permission also. Chmod G minus S on food. Now, did I remove it? No, it's O. Oh my God. What am I doing? O minus S on food. Huh.
Oh,
Minus T.
There
Guys,
was no
sorry.
S.
Really? No, it's not T. Now, is G plus, no, minus, read, write, execute. Everything will go, right? Oh, it's still there. You guys should help me. Please, guys, help me.
What are you trying to do?
Type. I'm trying to remove the T permission. Type. Yes, I know it's confusing, Ashley, but you need to know what to do. Someone says chmod minus T. Is that what we should do? Someone says chmod minus capital T. Ay. Say sure. Okay, yes, Ashley. Chmod O plus T. Let's try that. Chmod O minus T on food. Wow, it's gone. Thank God. Now, let's do a chmod O plus X on food. Great. You see that food has execute permission. Now, let's add our sticky bit again. Chmod O plus T on food. Do you see the same principle? This is why I did this. Now, do you see the same principle? Why is it a lowercase t? Can you guys explain on the chart? Why are we having a lowercase t this time around? Guys, explain. Because execute was there, right? Good. Because we had execute. Okay. So even if you see an uppercase T and a lowercase t, the permission means the same thing. The
No,
difference is
that's
just,
not my question.
what's your question?
My question was that because Greg couldn't delete the file, the file in the directory. So my question was that why is it the case? Meanwhile, he's in the same group with the person who created the file. And then I was asking, is it because the T was added to the O? I don't know.
So when you set a sticky bit O plus T on a directory, it has no effect on the file. But users with the right access can only remove their own files. Do you understand what this is, Ashley?
Yes, it means another person in the group who is not the one who created the file cannot delete.
Who has right access cannot delete the file, right? Cannot
Okay.
delete files in that directory. It is set on a directory. You cannot set it on a file, right? It has no effect. It will be there on the file, but it has no effect. But when you set it on a directory, whatever thing is inside that directory you cannot delete it if you're not the owner, even if you have write permissions. That is why Greg was unable to delete the files inside the directory and also to delete the directory, though he had write permissions, because now he can only delete what he created. Is that understood?
Yes.
Or is it still confusing?
No, I think it's okay now.
Okay. Great. Next topic. I don't know. Someone had asked me a question one day in class when we started the class. I said something like, he said, what if I forget my root password? What will happen? I said, that's what I said that day, right? That means you're done. You, you have to rebuild a server. Please type I did it if you forgot the root password and had to rebuild your server. Let me see how many people have fallen into that. How many people have built servers more than twice just because they did forget the root password? Oh, nobody? Okay, I've seen it. Own up, guys. Own up, own up. Those who did it. Okay, okay. Great, great. Now it's coming. Right. At least now, let's go and cook the other side of the cooking so that it will not more be cuit uncooked. Are you guys ready? Okay, what are the steps to change the root password? You guys should give me the steps. Let's set the root password of this machine to something else that I don't know. Password, let me see. Password, root, jargons. I just typed jargons and enter. Oh, no, 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 you can't type jargons. It will not match. Okay, let me see. Password root. Let me just type a password that I do not know. Oops, I exit. Switch to root. Who has fallen into this? SU dash root. Now, even if you harvest mangoes, you can't get into this system as root. The system is done. All right, how do we break the root password? Let me start getting it.
Can
It's
we
been
talk?
so long. Yes.
Yeah, I'll ask the operating system you're using, the version.
I'm using Red Hat 9.
Okay, I think we'll need to reboot the system.
Okay. Good.
The second,
The first step, he said reboot the system. But is that the first step? Is that really the first step?
I will need to alert other users that we're about to reboot the system. But
Okay.
shut
We
down
need
the file.
We need to alert other users. What else? You need to have console access. That's the first thing. You need to have console access. That's the first thing. Because if you do not have console access, how are you going to break the root password when rebooting the server? You have to shut down the system and reboot it. This is my console right here. Let me bring my console right here. This is my console right here. Can you see my console?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my console right there. Great. So right now, there's nothing I can do on this system. Someone said you need to reboot the system. Great. Reboot the system. 1. What else?
You need to interrupt the group process
Okay. We need to interrupt the boot process. Yes.
by using the up or down arrow key.
Great. Using
The up or down arrow key.
up or down arrow key. Yes, interrupt the boot process. That's the second thing. Third, yes,
We need to select the bootloader which you want to work on.
okay. You select the bootloader. Okay. Okay, what else?
You hit on E, on letter E.
Okay, you hit on letter E. 4. You hit on letter E. You hit on E. Yes.
It will take you now to to the kernel.
Okay.
So it's depending on your operating system. For Red Hat version 9, the line will start with Linux 16 something.
Okay.
You go to the line and add ROG.break.
Great. Great. I like that. I like that. Yes.
After
After
adding that,
RD.break.
you hit Control X to exit.
Okay. I like that.
After hitting Control X, it will take you to an edited bootloader script.
Okay.
So the script will be like switch underscore root column slash hashtag
Who is this? Who is speaking?
Landry.
I like this. Okay, let's go.
So after that, you need now to remount the root partition in rewrite mode.
Stop right there.
So that you'll be able
Stop
to.
right there. Someone else should continue. Yes, I can see Pascal, Danny owning up. That's good, Pascal. I see your mic open already. Pascal is shaking his head. No, not me. Okay. Yes. Caroline, you said you wanted to try. Caroline, you want to try? Okay, let's not waste too much time. All right. Landry, help me change my root password. That's good. I like that.
So at this stage, you will need to run a command.
Okay, let me see. Scale mode is Control C. Okay. Is it Control C, right Control C, or right Control what? Well, when time comes, I'll fight with it. Okay, great. You said first we need to reboot our system, right?
Yeah.
Reboot. Great. As you see, it's gone here. You interrupt with up and down. That's what you said. But I don't see anywhere to interrupt.
You hit E. You hit E and then you interrupt.
At what level? I didn't see where to hit the E because from your instructions, you told me that when the system is rebooting at the level, I'll hit up arrow key.
Yeah.
What happened? It skipped that part. That's strange, right?
Yep.
That's strange to me too. Okay, great. Let me tell you guys what happened. So actually reboot, change the root password, do a shutdown, do a complete shutdown of the system before it starts back. Don't do a reboot. This is what makes the difference. Know the reason why things happen or know the reason why there are errors. If you know the reason why there are errors, you become really, really good at the system. No matter how you click quickly, it will go. But you have to actually do a shutdown of the system. So I go to my virtual box. Let me do a shutdown because right now I've lost the root password. Now let's see power off. Power off system. All right, my system is gone. Power off. Now I have to be quick. Someone is saying be quick. Yes, I see why. I have to be quick to click my mouse inside one time and do my up arrow key. Once I start, because I have 5 seconds, it will time me for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's done. Let's see if I can catch it. Started the system. All right. Let me see. I don't even see it. Great, it's booting. I clicked my mouse inside already. Great, you see? Once it
Yep.
start booting, I click my mouse inside already. I did the up arrow key that he told me. He said I should do the up arrow key, which I did. I did the up arrow key, and you can see it right here with the up arrow key. Now, you have to break it using an rd.break. You need to break it using what? rd.break, right? How do I
Right.
break it? The first step that we did is we did a reboot of the system. We did a reboot of the system. So if I bring a notepad, one, we reboot the system. But if the system is already up, do a power off.
So the best thing is to power off.
Yes. If the best thing is to power off the system. Because at times when you reboot, it reboots really fast that it will skip the
The
bootloader area.
Okay.
Because you really have to interrupt the bootloader. Then the second thing is you need to interrupt the boot loader countdown by pressing what? Any key. If you press any key except enter, you press any key, you interrupt that. 3, you move the cursor, to the kernel entry to boot. 4. You press E to edit the selected entry. 5. You move the cursor to the kernel command line. It will start with Linux. It will start with Linux. Landry,
Yes, sir.
why this class is going? Please build me. What do you use, VMware or VirtualBox?
VirtualBox.
Okay. Do you have build a serverless, build one serverless VM and a server with GUI VM? Okay. When you
Okay.
build this two, just build just two. And when you're done, tell me you're done.
Okay, sir.
All right. Now, at this level, we are on 5. 6. Append or edit and add rd.break. This is rd.break and add rd.break to the last line, almost the last line that starts with Linux, the last line that starts with Linux. You add rd.break. Then number 7, you press Control X on your keyboard. CTRL, Control X on your keyboard to boot with the changes that you've made, that you have made to the kernel entry. 8. Now, at this point, the system will boot, right? The system will boot, but when the system boot, the slash that you know is always read. But at this point, it needs to be read write. It's always read. You need to mount and remount the sysroot file system into what? A read write file system. Can mount the system, you need to 8, you need to mount the file system from read to read, from read to write. Then you chroot. Number 9. After mounting it, you chroot. You will need to chroot to that file system. You will need to chroot to the sysroot file system. 10. Then you can change your password. Is this all, Landry? Is this where it
Mm.
ends?
No, you need to touch auto relabel
Great.
to signal the
SC
say
Linux.
yeah.
Now, you need to tell or signal SC Linux to relabel or to rename everything back, to relabel the file system back. Can you guys quickly take a picture of this with your phones so that we will be running step by step and you guys will be following? So at this point right here, the system, we are on step 2 because we rebooted and we interrupted by pressing any key. That's what we did. We rebooted and interrupted by pressing any key. Oh my God, this thing pissed me off. I thought today we'll really do a lot of practice. And I have 2 weeks outside for deployment. 2 weeks outside for deployment, which sucks. So 3, move the cursor to the kernel entry. So move the cursor to the kernel entry. Move the cursor to the kernel entry and do what? Move the cursor to the entry to the kernel entry to boot. Okay, which one do I want to boot? I want to boot this one. Instead of this, I'll boot this. Let's try and see. Look for the kernel that says rescue. And press Control E. The 4th step is when you stand on it, press Control E. Let me see what it will do. Why is my mouse doing this? Oh my God.
It says press E or Control E.
Press E. You see it right here. Why is my mouse going crazy? Okay. Move the cursor to the kernel entry to boot. Then press E to edit the selected kernel. Which one have I selected? I have selected the second one, which says rescue. The one that says rescue. Then I press my E. Now, after pressing my E, it says, what should I do? After pressing my E, all right, let me have it like this so that I can back up. All right, after pressing my E to edit, you say move the cursor to the command line. It will start with Linux. Okay, I see Linux right here. I use the down arrow key to move to where it starts with Linux. And I move to the last line. I don't want to tell you the Shift G that we did last time. At the end of it, let me put the rod.break and let's see. rod.break. Now, after I put my rod.break at the end of that line, the next thing is said press Ctrl X to boot with the changes.
Line?
Yes, this is a different line. See, if I want to move, this is a different line. This is a different line. That's a different line. This is a different line. This is a different line. Line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, 4, and line 5. So this line starts right up here at Linux, and it finishes down. It's just because it's a long line that it's coming down. Okay. All right, I've added my rd.break right here on the last line. On the line that starts with Linux, on the last place, I added rd.break. All right, commands are already popping out. That's good. Now I can even see here that it's telling me, hey, press Control X to boot, Control C or F2 command line to escape. Now I press my Control X on the keyboard, Control X, booting a command. Okay, let me see. Okay. You see, it came in here. Wow. It's in here. Now this is the root. You all know root. You know it already. Now you need to mount and add an option of remount. You need to mount and add a remount option. On what? You need to mount and add a remount option. So I do a mount -O. During your Red Hat exam, this is the first question. You don't know this question, you can't answer any further question. You're done. Your exam is done. Mount-O remount, because they won't give you the root password. You have to break it yourself. Mount-O remount. Yes, that's good. Thank you, Amina. Mount-O remount / read write / sysroot. Great. Mount-O remounts read write / sysroot. Now it's mounted to read write. I need to chroot now. Let me chroot to /sysroot. Chroot is just like CD. Let's just say CD. Let's call it CD for now. Change directory to /sysroot. Chroot, but don't use CD. I chroot to /sysroot. Now you can see my bash profile, my bash version showing here. And not like my bash version is showing. I am now at the downer level of the file system, like very inside the file system. Let me just say at the basic level. And now I can say password root now and change it. The most important part is now, after changing your password. You forget this part, you're in trouble. Touch what? /dot, it's a hidden file that you're creating. .auto relabel. Do not make an error on this name. Touch /.auto relabel and enter. You have to create this file. When you touch /.auto relabel, the next thing you do is you exit and you exit. Now, watch. You see how it will warning relabeling. You see, it is relabeling everything. If it does not relabel, you're in trouble. But once you do touch /auto.relabel, it will relabel everything. Sorry. The first time you do it might be a little bit difficult, but do it 10 times and see how it becomes easier. Now the system is booting. Remember, we did the rescue kernel. Okay. We did not do the actual kernel, but we did the rescue kernel. Enter with root. Great. Now I can get in. Okay, Landry, this was for you. Do you know the reason why I used the rescue kernel instead of using the kernel itself?
No, sir.
The system kernel?
No.
Okay, because they Red Hat at some point realized that people were breaking when you touch auto.reliable. Many people were changing the root password without doing auto.reliable, and that breaks the system. Imagine a production system and you break it. So you can only break the rescue kernel. You cannot more break the root kernel. Okay,
Yes,
the
sir.
basic kernel. That's why they forced it. If you go on the exam, you change the root password with the basic with the 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 actual kernel of the system, it will not work. You will not be able to get into the system. Change it 10,000 times, you won't be able to. It will lock you out. On these other systems, yes, outside you can, but on the exam system, you cannot because they want you to, they are forcing you to uh, exercise what? Caution and implement good habits. You will fail your exam. You won't be able to get in if you go in through. Always use the rescue kernel, okay,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
to change the root password. All right. I know when you guys go to try this at home, the first time it might be a little bit difficult. I know it will. Try it 3, 4, 5 times, 6 times even. Everything will become easier. Questions?
Yes, question, sir.
Okay. First of all, now
Um,
we've rearranged our food, right?
sorry?
Question. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to ask the before we came to this part of changing the password, I mean breaking the password,
Mm-hmm.
you did something uh I mean in the system like it was showing authentication for something like that. I didn't understand that part very well.
It was showing.
Um problem of authentication.
It
Like
was showing problem of authentication.
yeah,
Do I remember that?
uh, maybe I'll play back the video later.
Yes. Play back the video later and go to that place and just send it to me. I'll explain it, okay?
Okay, okay,
I'll
okay,
explain it to you.
okay,
That's
okay.
good. But I like your energy. I like your energy. You can work with me. I love people who are curious and I love people who at least have some kind of understanding.
Thank
All right. Any questions? Type your
Yes,
question.
sir. I have a question.
Question. Yes, question.
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
This afternoon I was trying to work on the system,
Mm-hmm.
so I saw that on my Windows I cannot get anymore the IP config to function very well. I don't know, was it caused by the open VPN that is not function very well?
No, you could not get the IP config tool to work
Yes, on my Windows.
till now.
Yes.
Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. Wait first. Let me see. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. What am I looking for? All right. Stop sharing. Why is Zoom doing this? Each time I stop Zoom, it's crashing out. My Zoom crashed, but I don't know why it's crashing this time around this like this. I am back. Okay. So, share your screen. Let's see. Let me activate multiple share. Share your screen.
Okay, let me share my screen.
Please, is Franklin here? Franklin.
Can you see my
it's
screen,
gone.
sir?
Yes.
Okay, so now when I go to the command prompt and I type IP config
Mm-hmm.
all, now it's working. What did you do? Previously it was not working.
What did I do? Did I even touch the server? I did not touch your server. Okay. All right, please, these people should help me. The others can log out, but wait first till your name is not here.
Sir,
First.
can I ask a question again?
Question.
I was having a problem while while building a new server on my virtual box. Even today, when I finish the installation, when the system asks me to reboot it and I reboot, it brings me back to installing the system.
How many times is it doing that?
Like 4 times.
Like 4 times.
Yeah.
Share your
4
screen.
times. Okay.
Too slow. Let me see. Franklin is gone. I think so.
Like this is the system I've built today.
So what's happening? Let me see how you build a system. Start. Let's see.
Yeah. Okay.
Build a new one.
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, Franklin, please, when they log out, please help me stay a little bit.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, this is what comes.
Yeah, please, when they log out, please help me stay a little bit. Franklin, Ange, Ange, Landry.
Now it's working. What did you do? Previously it was not working.
Please, guys, mute.
Did I even touch the server?
Guys, mute.
I did not touch your server.